Okay, we are recording. I'm just watching the red bar fill up before it's live on YouTube. Another 20 seconds here, I think we're set to go.
Okay.
Okay, I show everything is up and running. Anytime you'd like to start, we're good to go.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome anyone who is listening and those who are here on the commission to our planning commission tonight. Let's jump into the agenda. The first item is opening and approval of minutes from the February 11th meeting. Any comments or questions, or we'll entertain a motion?
I'll move that we make approval, Mr. Chair.
This is Quan.
Go ahead,
This is
Quan.
Quan. I'll second that.
Okay. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Next item on the agenda is final plat approval for Edge End Hollow Subdivision Phase 3 as amended, located at 1175 South Haight Creek Drive for Lauren Clark. Lyle?
Okay, I'll go ahead and share my screen just to show a couple details on this one. This one will be very familiar to the commission. We just recently saw actually the preliminary plat on it. And it's a very basic subdivision where we're just splitting this lot here on the corner of Haight Creek Drive and Main Street into two lots. And so with the preliminary plat that we had approved recently, recommended approval at least by the planning commission, we show the existing house on lot 1 and lot 2. We just verified a couple extra details with the applicant and corrected a couple items in preparation for the final plat, which is here almost identical, right? Includes some of the easements and cleans it up. We believe it is ready for final plat approval. Again, this one has all curb, gutter, sidewalk, street improvements already complete. And so it's just a matter of getting the laterals to the property and getting the plat recorded.
Okay. Well, I don't know if the applicant's here. I don't know that we have any questions, but I guess if we do, we can ask Lyle. So anything from the commission? Pretty straightforward. If there's nothing of note from the commission, perhaps we can entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we give the final plat approval for 0.409 acres at 1175 South Haight Creek Drive. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is right, isn't it? Yeah, 1175 South Haight Creek Drive. Is there a name for this subdivision?
Lauren Clark, I believe, is the owner.
It's Lauren Clark subdivision. Okay. Yep, for the Lauren Clark subdivision. Noting that all of the requirements of the preliminary have been met.
And commissioners, I apologize to interrupt. Woke up to the motion. That's perfect with everything I've told you. We're racing a little faster than the city council. They'll actually have the preliminary before them for consideration this next week. So I think that'll just be subject to their approval as we regularly do. So thank you.
Okay, so subject to the city council approval of the preliminary plat.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Let's begin the voting. We'll start with Toby because I see him first.
Aye.
Let's go Toby, Jared, Wilf, Steve, and then Quan and me.
Aye.
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 And I. All right. Let's go to the next item, which is also a final plat. This is for the cottages at Harvey Estate Phase 2, located at 1700 West, 200 North for Ovation Homes. You're muted. You're muted, Lyle.
Thank you for that. So yeah, here with the plat in front of you, this is the preliminary showing the overall project. This is near Angel Street, just off of 200 North of the west end of town. The City Council had previously approved the project as proposed here on this screen. We've already done phase one, given final plat. In fact, phase one is built. You can see here the nice dark new asphalt roads and some of the homes that are in it. Essentially kind of how this project phased out is there's a home right where this street's going to connect through to on 200 North. And so once, and in fact it's gone, once a new home had been built and provided for that resident, they're then able to demolish that home and finish the street connectivity out to 200 North. And so that's what this plat accomplishes, is it completes that right of way up to 200. It adds one extra lot. And there are two open space parcels up against 200 North that are included in this phase. All the utility work and underground is essentially completed with that primary, with the initial phase. So it's essentially that surface asphalt curb gutter that construction that comes along with this and the ability to serve that additional lot. So we're ready as staff to recommend approval of the final plat for that phase 1B. And I'd be happy to take any questions. I do notice that the applicant has joined us as well this evening if you have questions.
Lyle, just real quick on that. I drove by there this morning on the way to work and noticed that the little brick building is still there, the little old schoolhouse. What's the disposition of that building going to be? Is it going to be in the open space, or are they going to tear that one down also?
Yeah, I'll speak to what I know of it, and we can check with the developer if they've got anything additional to add. So yeah, you do remember correctly. There's the brick schoolhouse. Essentially, the property owner that sold it expressed that they weren't interested in keeping it. The city and our parks department has expressed similar interest that we don't want to relocate it to keep it or maintain it. The HOA of the new subdivision is not interested in keeping it around or keeping it. So what the developer has done is we've had them asked them to be in contact with our historic preservation committee about documenting the structure essentially. And they, I think, have some ideas of maybe how they can pay homage to it as far as its history and location. And Mr. Frost, if you have anything else to add to it, you might be better at answering that question. We'll give you some permission to speak here.
Yeah, if there's someone from Ovation, why don't we just let them answer that question or add anything else they want to right now?
You bet. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Hey, thank you. Yeah, Lyle said it really well. There is a historical committee. The previous owners of the property, the Swallows, have moved and they didn't have any interest in preserving that. The cost to move it was significant, and I don't think the city had a desire to participate in that. And so we've been working with a council member. I believe Michelle Barber was heading that for the city council with the historical committee and a few other folks. So our thoughts are is we'd be happy to work with them on documentation and things that they would need. We've talked about maybe even using some of the bricks on an entry feature, but it's pretty beat up inside, and even the bricks, it's probably questionable if we can even use the bricks because they may just crumble. So we're most likely planning on tearing that down and because it is in the HOA ground, but we have been in contact and we'll continue to do what we can to participate with the historical committee on documentation, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions in general from the commission or for the applicant? Okay. Well, in that case, I think this also is relatively straightforward with, with respect to the plat. Anyone would like to entertain a motion or propose a motion? How about that?
Yeah, this is Quan. I'll propose a motion to grant approval for the final plat of the cottages at Harvey Estates Phase 2, approximately 1700 West, 200 North for Ovation Homes.
Motion,
I'll
is there a
sec-
second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is second. Let's see, we kind of changed up here. Let's start with, I'll tell the order. Steve, Toby, Jared, Wilf, Quan, and then myself.
I vote aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And I. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next item on the agenda, which is a call to the public. Lyle, do we have anyone?
It looks to me like that was our last member of the public, Mr. Frost, so we no longer have any attendees in the meeting.
Okay. So we will forego the call of the public and item 5, which is reports, correspondence, or calendar.
Yeah, I think at least from my end, as far as reports, back on in 2 weeks on the 11th on a calendar item. Our survey work is still ongoing with the general plan, so we're waiting to hear feedback from them, but they are getting that. So I'm still waiting on results and information on it. And if something exciting happens in the near future, we can keep you posted by email. Hopefully we have something for you at least at the next meeting. And I think maybe otherwise of note, Mr. Summercorn could probably allude even more on this, but we're on the tail end, as we spoke earlier, on the legislative session. So once we know exactly what's gone through with the body and the legislature, we may have some homework ahead of us as the state makes changes that may impact us. So something to watch for, and we may have a lot to talk about.
So Lyle, can we throw it out real quick and just ask a question? HB 82, the ADU obviously passed, is going to be signed.
It's not passed. It's not all the way.
Oh, it
through.
hasn't passed? Okay.
It still needs action in the Senate.
Okay. So
I think it has passed the House.
But it looks like it's moving forward. The other one that I've been watching closely is HB 98, which makes some other changes. And I think the league came to some what's the word I'm looking for? Detente on that one, if I'm correct. So I think there's some things that are moving forward in that. And then the other one I've been watching is HB 164, the affordable housing one. So I mean, there's a number of these that are cause some. And the other one is the billboard one. I mean, so there's a number of these that are kind of top down. Going to change. We're going to have to amend code and amend some other things to shape around. I'm just wondering from Will's perspective what his thoughts are and what that's going to do to some of the stuff, some of our regulation and code in the city.
Oh, there'll be some changes that I'm sure we'll have to make. I don't know that it'll be particularly dramatic, but there's just a lot of detail in some of the stuff that we just have to make sure that we're in compliance with. And that's really the biggest thing that I think I see. If the SB 164, the housing bill passes, there may be some more things that we have to do for our affordable housing, for housing affordability and moderate income housing plan and so on. But a lot of the others is just going to be like taking care of some of the details.
Okay. Anything else, Lyle, on that item?
No, I think by and large that's it. So I'm aware of I think pretty much every bill that's been mentioned, but I'm far from expert on it. I've chosen this year to wait till the end so I don't track every version of them and every single one, and then we'll dive into the weeds and And we'll be prepared, not necessarily with the solutions, but to bring up before you, here's what we need to talk about and address, and we'll work on those solutions together, whatever we need to do here in Kaysville. So just something to look forward to. But otherwise, unless there are questions of me or other items or requests from the commission, reports, I think that's everything from staff.
Okay, sounds good. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thanks a lot.
Our
Good night.
third short meeting in a row. We're on a roll,
Yeah.
Josh, they keep getting shorter.
right?
At least I can watch my BYU basketball game now.
I don't see any frowns.
Hey, Lyle, will you call me in the morning in the office?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay, thanks.
All right, good
Thanks,
night.
guys.